Guten Morgen, muchachos. How you doing? Welcome back to Football Digest Daily. My name is Nyaassh, a very deflated one. Now, there's so much that was going on this weekend because, of course, on Football Digest Daily, we touch on what was happening over the weekend. And I feel like I'm going on a rant here. But yeah, it's been match day. Is it 11? I think 11 of the Premier League that was happening. So many games happening, and boy, I don't think there's anything that comes close to the debacle that happened on Saturday when Arsenal was playing against Newcastle. That's the major talking point. It's grabbed the headlines from Arteta flipping to just the crazy things that happen on the pitch. Now, I don't even know where to start. Let me just start off with the early kickoff, okay? There was the early kickoff between Fulham and Manchester United, right? And United were, of course, in a very bad patch, but they won that game 1-0. A game where they had a goal disallowed. I think McTominay has called, and then it was called for subjective offside. I don't know if I have ever heard of subjective offside before, but I mean, we keep learning new things every day with this thing. So, what do we know? This thing is on? Yeah. So, what do we know, man? So, but they still scored the goal. They still scored the winning goal. Bruno Fernandes scoring the winning goal in the dying minutes of the second half to give Manchester United some nice 3 points. To be honest, they were on the ropes. They were on the ropes. And I think they'll be very glad that they got the 3 points because Fulham could have easily made something else of that game. Especially in the second half, it was all Fulham. At some point in time, it was Onana who was saving them. But yeah, 3 points in the bag. I don't think they can ask for more. Well, a goal that was chopped off, something to consider there, but they won and got the 3 points. Then at 5 p.m., we had how many games? I think like 3 games. West Ham versus Brentford, or rather Brentford versus West Ham. That was a cracker. Some banging goals, chance after chance after chance, but West Ham came out on top to win that game. No, Brentford came out on top to win that game 3-2 against West Ham. Who scored the goals for Brentford? I think Wissa or something. Wissa and who else? No, I can't recall the other 2 guys, to be honest. I just watched the highlights for this one. I didn't watch the game. Then, of course, at the same time, I think we had Crystal Palace playing against Burnley. They won that game 2-0. Burnley are the whipping boys of the league. Everybody is slapping them left, right, and center. Then I think there was a third game happening at the same time. Who was this? I can't recall. I can't recall that the game that was being played at 5 p.m. because my focus is on the game that happened afterwards, which is Newcastle versus Arsenal. This was definitely going to be a big game for sure. I mean, 2 teams that are at the top level, playing very good football. Arsenal was unbeaten coming to this game. Newcastle, I think, had won 2 games back to back coming to this game. So yeah, it was going to be a tight game, and tight game it was, bro, like crazy. And started off the blocks like crazily because I mean there was the Kai Havertz thing, of course, the tackle that he made, caught the player with the second trailing leg, with the second leg, which was a trailing leg. Very reckless. Very reckless. Dangerous, yes, but not the same level as how it was reckless. I mean, you could say he could have been given a red card. If he would have been given a red card, I don't think he would have argued much, to be honest. He wouldn't. And I also think, honestly, like if you would have gotten a yellow, there was another incident that he made almost a similar tackle. Another reckless tackle that he made that you'd think like, okay, now dude, the first one was super bad. This one is not really good, so that's the second yellow, you're off, and it's okay. Right? He didn't get a red card. He got just a yellow. And in the midst of all that fracas, because all the Newcastle players, they came to the ref telling him, oh, you need to give him this, you need to give him that. 3 Newcastle guys were yellow carded. Right? I think the first time since God knows how long that 3 players of the same team have been yellow carded in the first half. Right? And if that was how the game was going to be, then we were set up for a crazy ass game. Right? So, no Havertz, no red card for Havertz. Man like Bruno Guimaraes, on the other hand, was thinking this is the game where he's gonna show exactly how crazy a person he is. Like a proper shithouser kind of player. And he was knackering, he was clobbering everybody. He clobbered Jorginho, I think, like twice. Pushed off, had an altercation with Declan Rice. And the only time he got a yellow card was when he put his hands on Fabio Vieira. Before then, he had made 3 errors that you think ideally you're going to get a yellow card here. But in all 3, he got nothing. He got nothing. Pushed Jorginho, got no yellow card. Hit Jorginho on the head with his forearm. Maybe nowadays you can actually do that in football and get away with it. God, no yellow card. Which was the other third one? There was a question between him and Declan Rice. The referee let it slide, which is okay. So that was that for Bruno. He never got a yellow card for nothing of those three incidences, right? And then he got this one yellow card for the Kidogo hands input on Fabio Vieira. I'm like, really? Stuart Atwell? Like, that's the only time you think Bruno Guimaraes should get a yellow card? Really? Wow. And then came the goal, man. So, hey. So, this game, first of all, I know people are saying, oh, Arsenal complaining, we should have scored more goals. We didn't score, we didn't create enough chances, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that we deserve to lose that game. And it also doesn't mean that we deserve to win that game. What it means is we did not deserve to lose that game. That's the whole point here. So the goal, of course, Murphy with a wayward shot went off the goal, and then it seemed like it's going off. Joe Willock went and brought it back when it seemed like the ball, your ball in the shot toka. Your ball in the shot toka. And then he whipped it back, came off as a cross, high cross, and then Gabriel went to clear it out. He got pushed by Joe Linton, and then of course the ball came between him and Joe Linton and Gabriel, and then it fell off for Gordon, who put it in the back of the net. One thing, first of all, I think David Raya should have done better, right? I think should have done better. And David Raya, by the way, he's instilling no confidence in me at all. I feel absolute zero confidence every time I see David Raya. And this is exactly what I thought he would not be. I thought he would be this goalkeeper who would instill a lot of confidence because he's very good in catching crosses. In fact, one of the things that was being touted to be better at than Ramsdale is him going for crosses. So every now and then, every time there are crosses, he seems a bit shaky. And he was shaky in that goal. But the ball was outside, that's for sure. They said there was no conclusive angle to give. There was no angle that they could clearly tell that the goal was offside the net. That was the ball went outside. So that one stood. They checked the potential offside by Anthony Gordon. I think they looked at that for 90 seconds. They did not have a good angle to make a conclusion, a conclusive decision. And then they looked at Joe Linton foul on Gabriel, and they felt like that was not strong a push to be deemed as a foul. And I'm like, Joe Linton put his two hands on Gabriel and pushed him off. But the referees were like, nah, that's not a foul. Nah, that's, deserve a foul? There's no foul there. And they gave the goal. And they said there was nothing conclusive there was no proper conclusion they would make from all these instances. They could not tell that the ball was outside or inside. They could not tell if Anthony Gordon was offside or not. And they could not tell that Joe Linton's push on Gabriel was a foul or not. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, is it rocket science now? Really? Is it rocket science to see Joe Linton push Gabriel? As in, unaweza sawa hizo zingine zote. You can forget about the ball being outside, that's okay. You can forget about the offside, that's okay. But how do you not think that Joe Linton pushed Gabriel? How? RJ, it's so blatant. Oh my God, it's so fucking blatant. And then, of course, Arteta flipped absolutely the post-match interviews and absolutely loved it. I loved it. And, of course, today Arsenal has made a statement backing Arteta's statements because the PGML, they need to do better. They absolutely need to do better. And I'll be honest, when Liverpool were going nuts about the goal that they were denied by Spurs, I don't think I made fun of them. To be honest, I don't think I did. In fact, I think I criticized that decision because I think it was very unfair, right? I don't make fun of them. I don't think I've made fun of Manchester United when they considered a soft penalty against Manchester City. I did not make fun of them. I made fun of Manchester United getting beat in general, not because they considered the penalty. That was soft as fuck. Soft as fuck. So, I mean, I think when Liverpool are going crazy, maybe it was an opportunity for everybody else to join in the conversation and just put some pressure on PGMOL because that was terrible. That was atrocious. And now Arteta has gone flipped and everybody is going nuts. And again, we drag back to our tribal cocoons and like, oh, it's Arsenal. Oh, they're always crying. Oh, Mikel Arteta should be banned. Oh, he will be banned. And everything else in between. It's insane. It's insane. I don't honestly think that goal should have stood. And I'm not saying this to say that Arsenal deserve to win the game. No. I'm not saying this to say that we should have, I don't know, been given some crazy goals. No. I'm saying this to say that we did not deserve to lose that game. Because we are going to that game unbeaten. Now, this is how we like to attack unbeaten. Sasa imeenda. It's the same stuff with Liverpool. When Liverpool lost to Spurs, they were unbeaten up until that point in time. And then they got beat. And everybody always said, oh, Liverpool, they need to do better, da, 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 da. It's crazy. These officiating howlers, horrors, they can't go on and on, man. I mean, something has to give. Surely, like, I don't understand. And everybody's criticizing Arteta for making those statements, like of Jamie Carragher, Michael Owen, Gary Neville. Like, so the referees are untouchables or what? Like, you cannot make a statement criticizing bad decisions. That's how it is right now. Like, you cannot be making any decisions. You cannot be making any statements against referees. Referees, they are untouchables. You know, eternals. They are eternals. No one can touch them. If you make any statement against them, it's crazy. It's wrong. Man, it's weird, man. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I mean, something we'll have to give at some point in time. Because these inconsistencies are way too many. There was a time last season, Gabriel's goal against, I think, Brighton, Martinelli's goal, could not be allowed because they had no conclusive evidence that he was actually offside or not. So they could not give the goal. They could not give the goal because there was no conclusive evidence as to whether he was offside or not. But the same PGML and its officials could give a goal where there was no conclusive evidence whether there was a foul on Gabriel, whether there was an offside on Gordon, or whether the ball was outside. So what is it? So what is it now? Tunacheza na guesswork. Tunacheza na guesswork sasa. You can just make decisions anyhow you want and get away with it. Man, I'm tired. You know what? I'm tired with VAR. Fuck. I'm tired. I think I've criticized VAR, I think, quite a number of times this season, just like last season. I'm tired. These things are way too many. Way too many. I can't wait to see. I'm sure. Hata game ya leo, Liverpool walikuwa wanacheza na Luton Town. Van Dijk alikuwa apigwa wrestling. Alikuwa apigwa rock bottom. Juu alikuwa apigwa rock bottom na some dude from Luton Town. And there was no penalty called. Iliachiliwa hivyo. I'm like, ai. Kwani siku hizi hadi WWE iko kwa board. You know? Like, because if you consider the penalty Manchester City got against Manchester United, that should have been a penalty for Van Dijk. Arsenal should have gotten a penalty against Newcastle yesterday. So what is it? It doesn't make any sense. And you know, and there's a category going around. And the more it goes around, the more it happens, the more it's going to fuel some fire here. Stuart Atwell, the guy who was on VAR against Arsenal, between Arsenal and Newcastle, is it Andy, what is his name? Andy Molly and some Stuart, whatever, I can't recall the name. Those two buggers, those two guys, they go to do officiating duties in Saudi Arabia alongside Michael Oliver. Now, Michael Oliver was not on the official duty in the game between Arsenal and Newcastle. He wasn't. But those guys, they go to do officiating duties in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, that league is owned by PIF. That PIF is the one that owns Newcastle. So these guys, are you trying to tell me like there is no conflict of interest here? Like you go to officiate a league owned by guys who own Premier League teams, and then you go and officiate in those teams or in games involving those teams owned by those guys who you go to officiate in a league they own. As in, sijui kama unaelewa, unaenda kufanya kazi kwa msee mwingine, alafu unarudi England kufanya kazi kwenye huo msee akona team. Now, una-expectiwa you maintain total neutrality. I don't understand. You cannot be entirely impartial. It doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't mean like these guys do that because they went to officiate in Saudi Arabia. It doesn't mean that. But, boy, it doesn't help at all. It's really not good for the optics, man. Like, you can't be having these officials going to officiate in Saudi Arabia, and then you have them officiating games involving Saudi Arabian owned teams in the Premier League. It's not sustainable. You can't do that. It's not good for the optics. So it's crazy. And these howlers been going on. But it's also a bit crazy that one team like Manchester City has been getting away with these things for a while this season. I can actually, on top of my head, I can count like 3 instances where they have actually gotten decisions going their way, which should have not gone their way. There was the goal they scored against Fulham that was offside. And I'm like, Akanji was offside. So these referees, they watched that goal go in, and they saw no offside interference by Akanji. None. At all. These guys, Manchester City, when you are playing against them, Arsenal and Manchester City, Kovacic, he had 2 fouls on Arsenal players. The first one actually should have been a red straight away. The foul he did on Odegaard, that should have been a red straight away. He didn't get, I think he got only a yellow. He went and did almost a similar tackle on Declan Rice and got nothing. He wasn't carded. Manchester, that's the second one. The third one, Juve to Manchester Derby, the softest of penalties you can ever think of. If those penalties are called like that, everybody should be getting a penalty every goddamn day. Every time kuna pigwa corner kick, hiyo ni penalty ya kila mzee. Kila mtu anapata. So I'm not saying Manchester City are doing something here, but damn, man, them are getting away with 115 charges. Wakati Everton wanapelekwa mbio kama wezi wa vibeti Nairobi. Right? The VR decisions are, going their way a while. There are 3 instances this season. We are just 10 games in, 11 games in. Well, teams like Manchester United wanakuwa clubbed kila time. Arsenal wanakuwa clubbed kila time na VAR. Liverpool wanaibiwa tu kila time. Yo, something has to give, man. We could go on and on about VAR, man, because it is what it is. It's pathetic. It is pathetic. So something will have to give. No, something will have to give. It can't go on like this. It can't. And now we are waiting to see if they are going to charge Arteta. If they charge Arteta, yo, look, it's not like I'm going to go from Kenya to the UK and just slap those guys, but damn, I don't think the FA should charge Arteta. They should not. I think they'll be opening a can of worms if they do that. Yeah, I don't think they should do that because they know what they did. And Howard Webb now, he has his work cut out if he didn't have already. Everybody now knows. Everybody now knows there's something going on here. It's not right. I don't know how you can one time call off a goal because there was no conclusive evidence. And another time you make a goal stand because there was no conclusive evidence. What is that? It's the same shit with Manchester United against Brighton earlier this season. A cut back by, who was it? Rashford. He cut back and I think Højlund scored that goal. Then they said the ball was outside. It's the same stuff with what was happening yesterday with Joe Willock. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you can see I can go on and on about VAR. I can go on and on. And the bad thing about it is it takes away from other performances that happen on the pitch. Because man like Saliba had a fantastic game. Newcastle, I think they were fantastic defending-wise. They absolutely pocketed Saka. Yeah, they kept Saka and Martinelli quiet. Saka was kept quiet the whole game. Martinelli was kept quiet for like 75% of that game. Livramento had a ball and a half. Had a game and a half. He had a fantastic outing. So, I think Newcastle are brilliant defensively, but I don't think because of that they should be getting all the 3 points with that goal. That should not be standing at all. I can't wait to see what happens this coming week as far as FA and PGMOL is concerned and Arteta. I can't wait to see how that happens. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting for sure. Then of course on Saturday I think at the same time. Oh, the other game that was happening was Manchester City versus Bournemouth. They absolutely slapped Bournemouth. Walipigwa kama wezi wa vibeti. Doku with a goal and 4 assists. Doku, man, Manchester City wali strike goal na Doku. I ain't gonna lie. I wish we had someone like Doku. He's good. Let's just say he's good. He's going to cook for sure. Doku is going to cook this season, no lie. So he had 4 goals. And did you see Bernardo Silva's goal? Oh my God. That was a goal and a half. First of all, the Doku pass, crossfield, and then the chip over the goalkeeper. First of all, he damaged the defender, then he damaged the goalkeeper, and then chipped. No, he damaged the defender and then he chipped the goalkeeper. Brilliant. Absolute filth. No lie. On Sunday today, when I'm recording this is Sunday, we had Luton Town playing against Liverpool. That game ended in a draw. Fantastic draw for Luton Town for sure. But they could have considered penalty against Liverpool. It was not called because, again, officiating. Then, of course, before that, we had Aston Villa. Aston Villa was supposed to beat Nottingham Forest so that they can go above Arsenal. That's what people are saying. Yeah, that went quite well. Quite well. Because Nottingham Forest, they won that game 2-0. So, yeah, and we have to wait for that. We'll have to wait for Aston Villa to go above Arsenal maybe some other time. No? Yeah. And then on Monday, when this one shall be airing, we shall be having the London derby between Spurs and Chelsea. Let's see how that one goes. Because, it's insane. Officiating in England in Imbo. Kamsa, the best league in the world with the worst officiating in the world makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. It doesn't at all. So yeah, that's how the cookie crumbled this weekend, man. And I was thinking I had seen it all because I was thinking maybe VAR and officiating in England is whack, and maybe places like La Liga are better. Well, La Liga, I would say they are better. They are better. Serie A is better. I think Bundesliga is also better. I mean, no lie. We don't see the howlers we see in those leagues like we see in England. But this weekend, though, in La Liga, there was this tackle Araujo did on a Real Sociedad player, and he walked away scot-free. Hata kadi hakukula. I think I also saw Iago Aspas pushing the VAR screen and VAR board, and I'm like, what's going on here? Must have been super pissed off. So it's not exactly perfect, but it is nowhere close to what we saw in England. What is happening in the Premier League is just a disgrace. It's a disgrace. It's embarrassing. Something needs to give here. We also had the Classic happening this weekend. I mean, and Borussia Dortmund were absolutely clapped. I think they had gone for like 20-something games in all competitions, unbeaten in their own patch. Signal Iduna, that came to a crashing end. Harry Kane with a hat-trick of hat-tricks. He now has 3 hat-tricks in Bundesliga. Crazy. Fantastic goals. Nothing much happening here also, to be honest. In Kenya, sisi kama Tusker, unajua Kenya mimi shida yangu tu ni Tusker. Tusker, tulipigwa na Murangasio. Tusker siku hizi jo, tunapigwa na kila mtu. Everybody can beat Tusker. Kila mtu akikuja pewa pombe ya free. Tunapeana tu pombe ya free. Shika. Something has to stop. Yeah, just like VAR. Hata Tusker kupigwa ufala itabidi iache. Not looking good. It's not. That's it. That's my rant. That's my thought on what happened this weekend. What a banging weekend. What a howler. Proper howler. Meshinda Kigali, nimekula good times huko. Narudi Nairobi kuona timu yangu ikipigwa. You can't make this shit up, man. You can't. You cannot. All right. I think this coming week there's some Champions League games happening. Let's see how that happens. If I'm not wrong, I think there's Champions League happening this week. So let's see how that shall turn out. What are your thoughts about the VAR howlers happening this weekend? Should we just scrap off VAR? What do you think? I would like to know what are your thoughts on this because it's crazy.